Aggroed. I'm moderating this forum. Let me go try to get a 5-minute timer going here so everybody can get their 5 minutes that would like it. I'm basically taking requests from the people that meet the requirements to have a speaking spot during this. The very first person that I'd like to go poll on here is somebody that we should all know and love by now. This is Androrky. Androrky is one of the, he's like a Steemit representative that's here to go help us talk about some of the perspective from the Steemit perspective. So with that, Androrky, can you say hello?
Thanks for that kind introduction. You all certainly don't have to love me.
Well, we ought to. It's great to have you here. Thank you for starting this off. It's great to hear the Steemit perspective and to have folks from Steemit Incorporated here because, you guys have such a giant stake weight and have so many developers that are helping this project and getting all this stuff going that, I know that there are some people that are frustrated that want more things faster, but I'm just so impressed by we've done 18, 19 hard forks now, and the site is still a single chain, and lots of progress is getting made. I think it's pretty incredible. So, but we're here to hear from you. So, how are you seeing Steem growth? What are the things that you'd like to talk about? Where are we going?
Yeah, well, the first thing I'd like to say is that I appreciate that you see what you're doing, but at the same time, I want to acknowledge that I also understand why there are a lot of people out there who are frustrated with us. And we know that communication is definitely a big part of that, and that's one of the things we're trying to turn around and get better at. We're mostly engineers. We put out great code. But we mature as a company, as we mature and grow as a platform, it's perfectly understandable that people want to gain more insights into what we're doing and who we are as people. And we definitely have a lot of stuff in the works as doing more of that and giving people a better insight into what we're doing.
Yeah, I think that'll make a lot of folks happy. The Steemit blog posts, if those things become a little bit more regular, I think that'll ease a lot of tension or fears of like, hey, that's a big black box of what Steemit's doing, and what Steemit is doing has a really big influence on this platform. And so if you guys can work on exactly what you just shared, I think you'll reduce a lot of anxiety for many of the people that are that are here, and not only here, but have a lot of money invested in this platform.
Absolutely, and we do plan on putting out more posts, but are going to try really hard to do more video too, and use that video to create posts as well. Ideally, and don't hold me to this, but what I hope we can execute on, the team is just insanely busy. Everybody just works 24/7. Can execute on is doing short videos between team members or with team members just talking to the camera into podcasts and articles and building off of that so that there's many channels access and insight into the company so that we're not demanding that they follow one specific route to gain information. We want as many tentacles out there so that people can follow the breadcrumbs to the information, as opposed to just having one little spot where only people who like blogs are going to go, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the more ways that you can communicate, the better. And I think that's gonna, as I said,
that's what this is about too.
Yeah, I'm trying to do my part to help bring all these folks together to have a good conversation, and hopefully we can be having a constructive conversation of where we want the platform to go, what we're hoping that Steemit can help develop for us, what we can develop for ourselves, and some of this is just how we can network both with other cryptos and within the community to grow this place. There's so many passionate advocates for Steem, and it's wonderful. And how do we leverage that? How do we get like an actual movement out of this? And not just, it's good that everybody does their own thing, but can we coordinate that a little bit? Because I think that can help us accelerate the growth that we're all hoping to see on the platform.
Absolutely. And I really feel like all of these efforts have kind of reached a level of maturity now where we really have to do that. And actually, I was just talking to the Promo UK guys about this. They put out a video. If you go to Stephen Kendall's blog, you can watch a video chat that we did where we talked about all these promotional efforts and the need to get some kind of organizational structure here, so that we can coordinate and we can do it right. And yeah, that's definitely a top priority. Also, me coming on and speaking to people like you is part of the strategy. I want to make myself more available. I want to be more open to having conversations with people like you, people like the Promo Steem guys who are trying to put the platform forward and just want a connection to the team and just want to know if they're on the right track. I want people to know that that's what I'm here for.
Well, that sounds awesome. Anjarki, that's our 5 minutes together. I got the timer. I stopped it right before it would go off. Thanks so much for coming on. If you have one last thought you'd like to share with us, you're welcome to do that. And then I want to get on to one of the next witnesses or whales so that people can have the chance to speak.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'd want to close with is that if people want, they don't have to take me up on this, but I can stick around for another 10, 15 minutes if they want to ask me questions, or do you not want me to speak anymore? That's fine too. I just want people to know I'm here if they have any questions.
Well, why don't you and I work out some other times where we can just have a somewhat regular session? I do want to give the other witnesses and whales and follower whales a chance to speak. So if you'd like to hang out in the channel and just talk to folks that have questions directed more towards Steemit and Steemit communication, I'd welcome that. But on air, I'm going to go bring somebody else on.
Sounds like a plan. Yeah, we can pick this up some other time. Thank you.
That'd be awesome. Anjarki, thank you so much. You just listened to Anjarki. He is a Steemit representative, I think possibly a Steemit employee, and it's great to have them online. It's great to have as much effort coming out of the Steemit Corporation as we have. Thank you for communicating with us. I have a Steem Growth Forum Google Doc up. Some people are already in this thing and shared into this thing. I'm going to keep adding names to this. So for now, I'm going to grab Stella and bring Stella in here. And then if there are folks that want to speak, please put a 1 into chat. That's my way to know that you're hoping to go on air, not just by being in the waiting room. Yeah, so Stella Bell, I've just pulled you into live on air. Are you there? I have you muted. Hold on, let me fix that. Stella, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Sorry, I had you muted momentarily. Let me go start this clock up again. And so you were listening to MSP Waves Radio. This is a Steem Growth Forum. I have on air with me Stella Bell. This voice is aggroed. And it's wonderful to have Stella Bell. Come talk to us. How can this platform grow? What do we need to do to reach out to other people, other artists, other folks?
Awesome. Thanks so much for having me. I have a cold right now, so you're going to have to excuse my voice. I am working on many different projects, working very closely with Utopian, and for this main reason is this. We need more transparency, caste system within the Steem planet. These things are hindering the growth, and I understand now a better way, which is mainly led by the idea of expanding the Utopian idea into other mini sites. How do
you see that working?
So first we have to ask ourselves, what problems does the Utopian model solve? Number one, open source is the key to growth. We all understand that, right? That the open source model is a better model than a closed source. So if we extend this outward and look at other areas, for example, the art world and other closed systems, we can basically use Utopian as the model to emulate.
So they have 3 million steam power that helps them really perform their mission. Without that steam power, how do we take that same kind of mission and make it successfully applied into other areas to help attract the musicians, the artists?
First of all, you have to understand why it was delegated. And the reason is the mission is to dissolve the corporate structure that is actually harmful to the human mind, in my opinion, and a lot of other people. So that's the big mission. There's a larger mission. It's not just to help a few people. This is to help an entire movement to have synergy within these models. So the open source model is now going to attract people. They have been attracted to the corporate hierarchy model. So this is a huge movement that is ripe for bringing people together to establish a more meritocracy, a true meritocracy. Because that's what we've been missing.
Yeah, how do we do that with curation? Because
the bot is there's very talented people that are constantly redoing the bot's algorithms. Number one, if you read the latest article, it's about they scrapped the old algo and they're building a new one, and it's this dedication to constant improvement upon processes. This is what will lead to something better than what we have right now. It's a recognizing of the problems, the issues, and also a way to work with individuals and bring them into a larger, them the support that they need. All of these things are happening.
So some of these things for that perspective, you can judge code and you can judge the utility of code pretty easily. How do you do a meritocracy for art, for music, for playwriting, for creative pieces? How do we handle that aspect?
In moderators, we're not at a point where the machines can decide. This is kind of where the issue has been, is with humans, human nature. So here's what my vision is. Each miniature community, and I'm building one right now, I haven't released the information yet, but I'm putting the team together, is that each community has its own shared values. And so it's important that people feel connected to a specific community, and that's how it will form organically from a mission perspective. So my thing I'm working on, there's the thing. What my point is, I have a very specific niche that I want to create. So really, people will be attracted to that resonate with my mission. That's what's happening with Utopian, and that's what I would like to emulate for my own project.
All right. Well, I think that has a lot of hope and a lot of ability to go bring other artists and new, like we just saw that in the trending page. We get a brand new music producer. I think efforts to help enable that will go a long way.
Can I just add one more thing? And I'm sorry, sure. I'm going over time.
Go.
My commitment to transparency, feel that Steem will become valuable. That's the number one priority.
Okay. All right. Well, you've been listening to Stella Bell. I'm going to go pull you off the air, Stella. Thank you for coming on the show with me. It's great to hear your voice again.
Thank you so much.
All right. So now I'm going to, next up, I have Luke Stokes. Luke, I'm assuming you're ready. I'm going to pull you on air with me. I'm going to take you off of server mute. And hey, Luke, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you great. It's wonderful to have you on the show. Thank you much for joining us. So this is a Steem Growth Forum. What do you think we need to do to grow this platform?
Thanks so much for having me again. I have kind of a meta narrative I wanted to bring to the table, and it's the idea of expectations. So we all have these goals of how to grow Steem and Steem it and the whole ecosystem. And I want to talk just briefly about expectations, because if our expectations are either uncommunicated or they're unmet, that's the source of all of our frustration. And like anything that we're upset about, we can look at it and go, wait, that was communicated in the roadmap, but it didn't happen. Or wait, I thought this was going to be the priority, but it's actually something different. And so one thing that I took away from Steamfest is this idea that Ned shared about tokenizing the web. That's the vision for Steemit, the company. And so we're so focused, a lot of us are so focused on steemit.com. And I think we might be misaligning some of our expectations as far as the goals of growing the Steem platform, the blockchain, and how that relates to smart media tokens. And so like we were just talking about Utopian, what would that look like as an SMT? And if it would be more powerful as an SMT, then there's some things that maybe we're pushing too quickly for something that is going to happen if we get in alignment with reality. So my kind of discussion I'd like to bring to the table is what's really going on with the blockchain development. And again, most of that is Steemit, the company, doing all that work. And then how does that relate to our individual and collective expectations of what we want today and in the future?
And it doesn't have to be them. I mean, Steemit doesn't, they're not the only people that can contribute to that. So as we get, hopefully Utopian is creating open source programmers, or not creating them, but supporting them. And hopefully they're contributing to Condenser on their own. And that, if there are pieces that we really want as a community that aren't a priority for Steemit, that doesn't mean that they have to be totally put on the back burner. We can go create those and add them to the projects that we're working on and make them happen.
Absolutely. And it's an interesting point because Condenser is controlled by the Steemit Corporation. We can do pull requests, but ultimately they're going to deploy it on their own AWS servers that we don't have access to. The blockchain itself, the witnesses like myself and others, we can have more influence on saying, yes, that hard fork is going to go forward, or no, that's not going to go forward. And yes, I would love to see much more development outside of just Steemit, the corporation, but that's just not where we're at right now. And so again, I want to align with where are we today with where we want to go. And so I think that this focus on steemit.com might actually be hindering us as far as our expectations, because I don't know that that's the core focus of the people doing the most of the development today.
Yeah, I don't think it needs to be steemit.com. I mean, this platform is about Steem, and Steemit is a big part of that, but they're not the only part of that. So what are the projects that we need to include, whether that's a curation thing like Stella Bell is talking about, whether that's supporting open source programmers like Elir is talking about, whether that's supporting minnows like I spend a lot of time doing. Like I'm trying to get as many different voices and programmers and influencers and whales and folks that are on here to help share their ideas of how can we grow this ecosystem. And growing steemit.com as a nice looking website is certainly part of that, but it's not the only thing. So other than managing some expectations around where we're heading, what else can we be doing to help this place grow? What would your advice be to other folks? What is it that you are personally doing to help make this thing grow?
Well, as a witness, my goal is to try and take technical things and communicate them in non-technical ways. So what I'm currently focusing on and trying to put more attention to is really understanding the vision of Steemit, the company, because they are in reality the core developers right now to the whole platform. So when Ned says, hey, I need people to look at this white paper on the oracles for SMTs, and hey, I want you to rip apart the SMT white paper, that I feel is the number one priority for the whole community to be doing, because that's what the core developer community right now for this platform is focused on. So we might push for something to blow up and be huge and promote a whole bunch of Steam power to it or do a whole bunch of things to it. But if we can't onboard people quick enough because Hard Fork 20 isn't there, then we might be shooting ourselves in the foot. And we might be actually having conflicting expectations that holds the whole community back, because one person's moving one direction, the other person's moving another direction. I'm not suggesting we need perfect consensus. I'm just saying that if we focus our attention on what can move the entire ecosystem further, faster right now, I think we'll have better results with every other project that we're involved in. So for my focus, me personally, I'm going to be been marinating on the SMT white paper and thinking about how the oracles can control who gets to be part of an SMT rewards pool and how that impacts the Steem rewards pool. All those kind of things I think should be discussed at great length as a community as we start figuring out how is an SMT going to solve a lot of the problems we see in Steemit, because steemit.com might just be a reference implementation of what an SMT can be in the future. And I think like Utopia and a lot of these other projects, I think eventually they're going to move towards an SMT model. So we should all understand what that is.
Yeah. there's certainly the future, not only of this particular blockchain, but I think they're going to be the future of all these blockchains. Everybody having access to their own niche need is going to go a long way. All right, Luke, if you have a closing thought, you're welcome to it. Otherwise, I can just say, hey, thanks for coming on air.
Yeah, my closing thought was, again, that's my point here, is to be available to people who want to understand technical stuff in non-technical ways. So I'm always available. Ask me questions. You can get a hold of me in many different ways, and I'd be glad to help as best I can.
All right. Well, fantastic. That's awesome. Thank you for being here. The next person that I have on the list right this moment is Alir. So hopefully, Alir, we've been talking about your project some already. So hopefully you're going to be able to join us on air here. I've dragged you into the room. You currently have a mic. You're muted, but you should be okay. Can you say hello, Alir?
Hello.
Hey, fantastic. You're coming through loud and clear. Alir, you're the lead operator of Utopian.io, a 4 million Steem-powered delegated account. Tell us about the account. Tell us about the project, and please try to put that into some context of how it's going to help grow the Steem ecosystem.
Yeah, of course. So Utopian is quite a new project, as you know. I think now we have less or maybe 6. The project is growing really, really fast. At the moment, we have almost 4 million Steem Power delegated that we are using to reward open source contributions. The way we are helping the Steem ecosystem to grow is by, for now, focusing mainly on the Steem ecosystem. So as you may know, Utopian is in general for open source projects, but at the moment our main focus is on the Steem open source projects. There are quite a few ways that we are trying to achieve this. As you know, the platform itself, it's already a way to incentivize open source contributions to the Steem blockchain. But we also have some curated contents that we do on a weekly basis. For example, we have the Utopian Weekly, where human curators every week, they are picking the best projects and the best contributions that we receive. And out of them, we create a sort of brief that it's very easy to read, so that people on Steemit can just go through these projects and start knowing them.
What's the main thing that you're looking for in that? What are you trying to promote, or what are the primary goals and objectives? I know it's open source, but as you're trying to develop, is it condenser? Is it the blockchain? Is it all of that? Is it marketing? Where do you see the biggest needs in this, and how do you think that by fixing those needs that'll lead to growth on the platform?
Yeah. So Utopian embraces quite a few different professions. So we have developers, we have graphic designers, content creators, and some more. But our focus is mainly in helping developers having rewards by contributing to open source projects. At the moment, there is no real way for an open source developer to have some rewards, to earn something by contributing to open source projects. I don't like to say earn money, because that's very against the open source philosophy. But yeah, I believe the more we can reward open source developers, the more likely they will join the open source movement.
So besides the vision of just getting open source developers involved, are there things in particular that you're looking for, is it just supporting the open source and you're open to everything, or is there a particular direction that you're hoping that this thing will head?
Yeah, well, as Stella already said, the main mission of the project is to change the way right now. I know it's a very sounding mission, but the idea that I have in mind is that you can be rewarded by the real value that you bring to a project, And by contributing to open source projects, you are actually contributing to something from which the entire community benefits just immediately. So, you know, this is a completely new concept, and if you think about it, we could also create a new shared economy out of this, because we could actually create commercializable projects, but open source. Doing that, we are allowing people to get rewarded for their real value and not just by the position they have in the community, because it's the community rewarding those people. So there is a consensus about the real value they're bringing to the project and to the community in general. So I think it's a quite powerful concept. For now, it's just really a draft. We need much more traction, and we need to also get out from the Steemit ecosystem, because for now Utopian is just very well known in the Steemit ecosystem, but not outside. And this is another point that I think it's really important for the Steam-based projects in general. What I see is that they live and survive for now, and they are marketed only inside the Steemit channels. To really push these projects outside, and I hope that Utopian will help to do that as well.
Yeah, along with that, my next thought is my next forum is not going to be the Steem Growth Forum, but the Crypto Growth Forum, and try to bring multiple cryptos together and help make Steem the platform of choice to talk about these things. So I'm with you. We do a lot of this stuff internal into our own community. I think we have to keep reaching out to other communities and helping them develop their code if it's through an open source means, and creating pathways in between these things, I think is going to go a long way. So, Alir, you have a couple seconds left. Is there a closing thought you'd like to share with us?
Yeah, of course. Just get in touch if you have any question. We have a Discord channel for Utopian, so just head up there. I'm there quite every single day, so just get in touch.
Can you do me a favor and link that Utopian Discord channel in the MSP Waves audience channel?
Will do. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for coming on. That was Alir. Alir is the lead creator, the lead curator, the lead person for the Utopian-IO project, an open source project. You are currently listening to MSP Waves audio. This is the Steem Growth Forum. I'm your host for this. I am Agrod. I'm a witness here. The next person that I'd like to go pull onto the show is Block Trades. So Block Trades. No, I need to change my screen resolution a little because I got so many people in the waiting room, I can't even pull them in. Actually, Ron, can you help me out here and pull Block Trades in? I can't actually, I need to pull some people out or something. So I'm going to pull Alir out of here. I'm going to hopefully grab Block Trades. And there we go. Block Trades, you're on the air. This is a Steem Growth Forum. Can you just give me a hello?
Hello.
Hey, fantastic. Block Trades is the account here is also the account that we all know that we do a lot of our transactions through as we're trying to go turn Steem into other cryptocurrencies. This is the founder and creator of that, and it's wonderful to have him here. So Block Trades, you're up. How can we grow this ecosystem, and tell us how Block Trades might fit into this, and what else do we need to be doing?
Okay, well, I guess as project manager type of person, I kind of divide it into different areas of what needs to be done. Frankly, I think number one right now is one that Steemit's actually focusing a lot of time on, which is scaling. It's easy to miss the importance of scaling until we had problems like we had a couple weeks ago where the site wasn't working well and everybody's going crazy. But that's kind of the number one issue because, you know, we've got other issues. We need onboarding. We need to make it easier to get people into the system. We need more social media functionality. We need to improve the curation system. But all those things fall apart if we can't scale the platform to more users, in a reasonable way.
And it's challenging to do while we're also trying to communicate about it, because that's not stuff that a minnow on the platform or somebody brand new to this thing is even going to experience. I mean, that's all stuff that's happening on the back end. It's not flashy. It's not sexy. It's just, hey, we're ready for scale. It doesn't look like anything has changed to a lot of users, but on the back end, at least, you have like the whole juicy interface, and now we can get transactions to happen without bogging down the whole platform.
You don't feel it until suddenly it's overwhelming.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. How can block trades as a platform try to help us with this? What can we do as a community? How do we leverage? I mean, you have a gigantic, enormous, fantastic resource. What else can we do to leverage that to help grow this platform?
Well, I mean, we have a bunch of programmers here, and because we're fairly profitable, we are focusing a lot of our funds back into Steem. So, I mean, we're actually working with Steemit on the scaling issues. We're also looking at other business models that we can do to improve some of those problems. I mean, we're looking at possibly running some condensers ourselves, for instance, just as another way to spread out the load.
We have a couple, just so you know, we have a couple people in here doing that. At Dracos, who's a witness, and also
I'm aware. Definitely,
they're running. Great. They're running GoSteam. We have mspsteam.com. So we have a couple people that are already doing that. If you'd like to steal some of their or pick their brain for that.
Yeah, I mean, we've got guys actually working on the condenser code. So we plan to make some improvements to it as well. That kind of thing, especially stuff that's maybe optimized for our needs.
And I keep thinking that any way that we can reduce the friction between converting between the different currencies and making this as easy as possible, and basically
that's exactly where we're focused.
Yeah, I mean, because
it feeds right into our business model. If we can make that easier, it lowers our support costs, which means we can offer better rates, everything.
And if it's going through Steem and you have a major presence here, that's going to be fantastic. I think it's going to go a long way to help this platform. What else should we be working on? What else do we need to do to help this place grow?
So I see the other two main things I would like to see more work done on right now. First of all, I'd like to see more social media functionality, and that's a broad spectrum thing. And that stuff is happening, but it's never happening fast enough for me. Steemit guys are pretty tied up with scaling, and that's understandable. And I think the social media functionality is a great place for efforts like Utopia and stuff like that to work, because they could introduce more features here and there that everybody wants, and it doesn't require as much structured effort as it does to take on a topic like scaling, which requires lower level coding. So I think that's a great place for those guys to be working, is just somebody says, oh, it'd be nice to keep my picture somewhere on the site, and somebody codes up something for that kind of thing.
I have a small ask. I know that you have a lot of connections into some of the other crypto spaces. One of the next forums that I want to host is the Crypto Growth Forum, and maybe you can help by opening up your network and encouraging people from other cryptocurrencies to participate in a discussion like this and be part of that and moderate that with me.
I can, to the limit. I'm actually only involved in a few cryptocurrencies, where I have a lot of connections, mostly the ones I came out of because I've been, we contributed code to. So that would be like BitShares, Pure Plays, and Steem, of course. I guess the last thing I wanted to mention, you were asking one of the things. It's a topic on a lot of people's minds, and I agree there's problems, which is the curation system, the reward system, however you want to look at it. It's a very complicated topic, and I think there's not going to be a solution where we just change one little thing and it all works suddenly. I've been kicking around a lot of ideas myself based on issues people point out over the while. So I'm probably going to write up something in a while on my ideas for how the system can be improved. And my perspective on improving the curation system is basically just to make it basically the best content rise to the top.
Yeah,
that sounds like that's about the end of my time there.
I think that's the end of the time. We've been listening to Block Trades. Block Trades, do you have one last kind of closing thought you'd like to share with us? Just pull some of these different ideas together and pack a punch with one last outgoing. I know, low pressure though.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to tie all those together too well. Yeah, there's a lot of problems. I mean, but I think we're going the right direction to solving them. It's never as fast as we want, but that's life, I suppose. I still a big believer in Steem. I'm a big investor in Steem. I continue to increase my investment in Steem. So that's about it, I guess.
Awesome. Well, you've been listening to Block Trades. There's nothing like putting your money where your mouth is, and with something like over 3 million Steem, that's a guy that certainly is putting it on the line. So thank you for being here. Thank you for being part of the show. I think I'm going to sort of abandon some of the put the one into chat, and I'm going to abandon the Steem Growth Forum Google Doc. It seems to be working out okay that if you're hoping to come on air, you can just be part of the MSP Waves waiting room. Tim Cliff was one who had asked me to sort of wait until a couple people have gone. Tim, can I pull you in next? Tim, are you ready? Because I think that's the next person here. It's hard to, if you ever run one of these, you'll understand that it's a little bit tricky to bounce back and forth. But all right, I'm going to go. Tim Cliff's audio should be ready. Tim Cliff, I have you in the live on air. The live on air chat room. Can you just say hello and we can test our audio real quick? Tim, maybe a push to talk or something. You shouldn't be server muted or anything, but I don't hear you. All right, I'm gonna pull Tim Cliff out for a second. This is live radio, folks. Let's go, Osbitbank, maybe you're next up in here. Let me pull you in. I'm also still wondering if GTG, I know that Lucifer would like to speak, Beans would like to speak. Let me go pull in, maybe one of the moderators can go work with Tim Cliff to go make sure that his audio is running. In the meantime, I know that I'm doing a little bit of the sniping people from this waiting room, but let's go get Osbitbank in here. Osbitbank, I have you muted, or you've muted yourself. Are you here? Are you available to speak? Os?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, fantastic. Osbitbank, if you didn't know, is another one of the top 20 witnesses. He co-founded the Minnow Support Project with me. We're currently in the Steem Growth Forum here. So, Os, what are you working on yourself to go help Steem grow? What do you think are some of the needs that this platform has? And then maybe you and I can go talk a little bit about the Minnow Support Project and how we think that we fit into the growth of this platform.
Sure. Well, I've got a massive list of projects I've got sort of half done and not finished. But my main thing that I want to get out next is Steem Bids. But along the way with getting that released, the next version of that released, we have a serious spam problem, and we need a few tools in place to deal with that. So one thing that I think that will have massive benefits for heaps of other areas would be if we can improve the reputation system, make it more like a web of trust based system.
How would that look? So right now, my understanding is that the reputation system is mostly based off of just straight up upvotes and the number of basically post rewards that you've received over your lifetime, minus some of the flags. I mean, I know that that's not perfectly technical, but that's roughly it. How would you want to change that? I mean, what else do we need to include in that? Another thing that is a little weird is that it's not actually built into the blockchain. It's like a condenser level interface. It's not actually built into the block. So without getting too technical, what would you suggest? And then what do you mean by web of trust? Because we got a lot of folks that might not know what that is.
Sure. Well, basically, yeah, the reputation system currently works on upvotes. We can keep that data, but we should have extra metrics. Like, if the way the follow and mute system works in Steemit right now, they're custom JSON operations. We could just modify that system to allow a way to leave report abuse and report just good behavior of people. So I dropped a link in chat, which is going off, so I don't know who saw it, that of an old school Bitcoin over-the-counter trading system. people basically, when they have a good trade or a good experience with someone, or a bad experience, can directly just leave a little a rating and a note, and it builds up over time into this huge. Yeah, please do borrow it, some guy. It builds up into this huge database of a trust network between verified users, and we can use this to. I mean, I've seen some good ideas about using mute to look at who's the most muted users, but we have issues there with abuse as well, because some botnet just mutes a popular author and they're the most muted user suddenly. But if all of these ratings have to be from other verified users that themselves have their own reputation and reputation to protect, I think it's just going to count for a lot more.
Yeah.
Basically, there's incentives to follow and mute people that are separate from actually whether you trust or like someone or dislike them, like abuse people or follow people that are spammers and all that sort of behavior. So if we can make a separate system that's just like the one I linked, and then the combined feedback from that be taken into account for trending, for all sorts of views, it could make a massive difference. We could wipe out all these automated crappy spam reports, for example.
Just get a number, or just get some kind of alternative rating system. I'm like thinking of this as from like an eBay perspective of trusted seller, trusted blogger, and have it be more communicated collectively, as opposed to just how many post rewards have you gotten and what have they looked like. So let's see, we got about 50 seconds left. Do you want to talk a little bit about how you think the Minnow Support Project can play into the Steem growth and the ecosystem? Why do you spend some time helping this place in particular?
I just think the onboarding process is a massive problem. We have a big issue with retaining users. People sign up, think they're going to get rich with their first post, have no followers yet, and drop out. So if we can keep those guys in by giving them a community they can come to for advice, get a little bit of income through the bot to get started, but come for the bot, stay for the community is what you used to say.
I still do. I still think that's right. If we can get people to have a little bit of a promising experience here, maybe some good folks and good bloggers are going to be willing to put up with us for more than like a week and say, I didn't get $1 million yet, so it must be broken, and to hell with this and whatever. So
exactly, it's all a scam. Yep.
Yeah, it's all a scam. All right, yeah, we're hoping to minimize that. All right, Bitbank, thank you for coming on. It's great to hear your voice as per usual. You're fantastic, and thank you for co-founding the Minnow Support Project with me. I think to keep mixing this up, hopefully Lucifer is going to be ready to go on air. Hopefully everybody that's in the waiting room is audio checked, ready to go, and paying attention, because when these conversations stop, I'll just pull the next person on. But I got Lucifer with me. Lucifer, can you check your audio and just say hello to me?
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you great. So starting our 5 minutes, you do a lot of curation. You got this open mic thing. Tell me about, one, how can we grow as a platform? How do you fit into that? And how do some of your projects fit into that? And you might want to start by just saying what they are.
Yeah, great. I do the Steem at Open Mic. It's a online live music venue that people can just upload a video that they perform a song or sing a song, make a blog post about it, and then enter the contest. And we give some prizes away and they get upvoted.
Yeah, and you guys are on like what, week 53 of this or something?
59. We're about to start week 60 tomorrow.
I mean, that's exciting. It's got to be one of the oldest running projects that's part of the entire Steem ecosystem.
Yeah, it's really fun, because a lot of people can't actually blog. They're not real content creators. And Steem, it's great for a content creator. But for somebody new who's never created any content, it can be a little intimidating, I think. So music is really accessible. People know how to do that. It's really easy to record on your phone, upload to YouTube, and enter the contest. So it's working for a lot of people.
That's fantastic. And having run my own Resteam contest for a while and running this Minnow support project, I know how hard it can be to keep these things going for, 59 weeks and counting. That's an awesome accomplishment. Thank you for your dedication to the platform there.
Well, it's a group effort for sure. I started it, but it's morphed into something more. We've got P Funk that's been sponsoring it and giving prize money since almost the very beginning, and then Crystal and Passion Ground and Verbal D and Sound Legion and Jessamine Orchard have gotten on a panel to do judging. And then now Austin Bit Bank just made a bot for it, started a new account for it called @OpenMic. And we still manually curate everything, but the bot kind of helps out too.
So how are we going to leverage the open mic night into Steem growth? How do we turn these musicians into Steem aficionados? How does that happen? How does it work? What kind of support do you need?
Well, the next plan I plan to do is actually create its own website, an open mic website. So it would just market, it'd be on the Steem blockchain, but it'd be its own website that we can market just to musicians. And that's the next plan, basically.
With that, I think the music industry can be a huge part of Steem. We see that some with D-Sound, we see it with D-Tube, some of these places that are trying to take over sort of conventional new internet technologies of how we're going to show these things. Like,
I think they're great.
Can you take over from iTunes? What market share can we steal?
Actually, this is Ben Brick, who I met at Steam Fest. He started Steem Songs, which is just like iTunes, but you can pay with Steem and Steem dollars. So it's just now launching, and he wanted to do a category of original songs from musicians on open mic as well. And then I met the guy from D-Tube too. He's awesome, man. Those guys are working out all the bugs. I mean, it's a little slow right now for musical performances, but it's getting better all the time.
Well, that sounds awesome. All right, so we have maybe just a minute left here or so. What do you want us to know? So we have a website that we can go to. We have an iTunes version that is now Steem and SBD enabled. Hopefully you'll put a link to that in the chat room down here. How else can we help? How do we get new musicians onto this platform? How do we make that attractive for them?
Well, we introduce them to the open mic contest, and what I've been doing is going over to Facebook. There's groups like songwriters, musicians, singer-songwriters, and just putting in links to the different contests. The one we're launching in about a week, sponsored by Mino, is we're giving away an acoustic guitar doing an 8-week original song contest. There'll be 8 different songs, 8 different themes, and then we'll judge them and give away a free electric acoustic guitar with a hard case.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Well, again, I really appreciate your dedication to this. It is incredibly time consuming. I know what that is like. It is fantastic that you've done it as long as you have, and thank you very much. It's awesome.
Hey, it's really hard listening to all this music, but we're going to get through it somehow.
Well, it's not just the listening, the judging and hours of this. It's
a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I want to thank all the community for the support, and let's just keep doing what we're doing.
All right, fantastic. So you were just listening to Lucifer. Lucifer here runs the open mic contest, which is going on its 60th week. He's basically been doing this since the beginning of the platform, and it's awesome to see. Beans contacted me early, so let's go get Beans in here for a conversation. I would like, can we get a test on Tim Cliff's audio and just see where that's at? And if somebody could just let me know. Beans, I have you in the chat room. You're live on air. This is the Steem Growth Forum. If you could just share with me some of your thoughts on how we're going to grow this platform and where we're headed.
Hi, great. Thanks for having me on. Okay, well, I heard about this meeting through a post by Transisto, and it was sort of along the lines of Steem it, we have to talk, which I thought was funny. It's like, like I think there's a lot of issues with the network coming from a lot of angles. This particular post was mainly about the way the delegation of certain whales is being used, people paying for delegation, and then people paying those minnows who were, who have got delegated power for upvotes. And yes, it's increasing the amount of spam, as some people mentioned, and it's I think one of the major problems with the platform is right now curation is sort of being taken over by people who are paying for upvotes, paying for delegation, etc. So I mean, we kind of have, like, I think Francisco was trying to say in the post that we need to police the system with downvotes, or I'm not sure what way he was talking about, but personally, I think if we're policing the minnows by downvoting them, we're basically punishing the minnows for buying these upvotes and delegation off the whales, right? And we can't exactly prevent other whales from providing these services because it's a free market. But and it doesn't stop the whales from getting the money either. What we do is we prevent the minnows and the whoever's buying the delegation from making their money back. So they've spent this money, and this is really affecting, I think, user retention. Sorry. So I think if we're charging for the upvotes and delegation, it's not going to encourage users to curate properly, especially because they have to make that money back, or at least that's what they think. Because minnows are not even incentivized. Minnows don't have a huge stake in the platform, so they don't have the same incentives as a whale to actually use the platform in ways that improve the network. The whales are the ones with the incentives to do that. So so my solution, anyway, what I propose, it would be that this is a free market, right? So certain whales are offering delegation and upvotes for money, for SPD, whatever. I think if we want to improve curation, you need to actually have better, offer something better to the minnows. We don't have the same incentives. So, I mean, one thing you could do is you could actually employ minnows. That's what the whales actually have the power to do. They have so much SP that they could select curators who would curate responsibly. They can keep an eye on the way that they curate. They can treat them as employees. They can remove the delegation if they don't curate responsibly. And responsible as in whatever it is the SB holder actually considers to be a good way to curate, right? Personally, I would say it's social, but
I can stop you there for a second. We actually have tools that let people do that, right? So at the Minnow Support Project, we have the community account called @MinnowSupport. We have people in here that have won a Medal of Honor from this place, one of whom is a developer by the name of @NetUoso. NetUoso built a program called MSP3K. MSP3K is a program that can store a private key, like a private posting key, and then give out other logins to a communal website so that you can all curate from that communal account without sharing the private key with everybody. Because a whale might not want to say, okay, here's my private key, go curate, but they could say, here's access to a program that has a hidden layer with the private key is in there. Now you can actually go upvote. Now you can curate. You can put limits on different people. NetUoso made that thing a public resource on GitHub. So now anybody that wants to go host their own community can use tools that have been developed within the Minnow Support Project to do community curation from those accounts. So we have tools to help people do exactly what you're talking about, because we believe in community curation and having a community account. We use ours to just upvote every single person on the block that wants it, which, maybe that doesn't work for everybody, and I get that, but it is a nice way to go help brand new people get started, and then brand new people go from not being all that great bloggers to getting just enough incentive to stick around so that they can actually become better bloggers and then actually put quality content on this platform. They don't always start that way on day one, but we can help them get there. So I like what you're saying. We have tools to help people do it. It's called MSP3K.
Yeah, well, we even have the tools with Steam, the Steam network. The fact that you can delegate to people. Right now, it's mostly being charged, and hopefully those prices would at least come down, because I mean, right now the prices that they're charging at the people paying for them, they can't even make the money back if they try, and a lot of them are trying because they're not aware that what they upvote themselves with isn't even going to make back the money that they paid, or it possibly could, but it means self-upvoting a lot, and it means that it's not being curated by the network. It's just selfish upvotes, and it does mean a lot of spam getting through and a lot of things that people don't even want on their posts. So yeah, I kind of think if minnows had the incentives themselves, right? All they need is the delegation. If we had the incentives ourselves to curate more responsibly, that's what you'd see. You'd see a lot of curation of much more quality content, because that's what the whales want to see.
All right.
That's what,
Well, thank you very much for coming on the show with me. It's great to have you on. That was Beans. Beans is one of the founders and creators of the Votu community. Hopefully, she'll go put the link to that Discord community into chat down here. It's fantastic to have you on the show. The Steem Growth Forum. The next person I want to bring on the air is Tim Cliff, and hopefully Tim's audio is doing okay. So, Tim, I have you on the channel with me right now. Are you able to speak?
I think so. Can you hear me?
Hey, you sound great. Fantastic. So this is a Steem Growth Forum. I'm your host, Agrode. You're listening in to MSP Waves, which is the streaming internet station from the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network, which hosts the Minnow Support Project. On air with us right now is, I don't know if you are right this second, but Tim Cliff keeps going back and forth with Jesta for the first and second witness on the platform. So it's wonderful to have Tim Cliff. And on an aside here, I just want to say thanks to Tim Cliff, because he's been one of my main mentors on this platform since I started running my witness. So thank you for helping me, and it's great to have you on the Steem Growth Forum.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's great to be here. I don't know how many of you read my post, but if you can't tell, I'm super excited for this program. I think that the forum that we're starting here has potential to really move the platform forward. We have a lot of excitement and a lot of things going on right now in the Steem platform, and I feel like one of the things that's been lacking is kind of a cohesiveness or a direction, just as far as, what should the people in the community be focused on, what should the developers and investors be doing. And so I think this forum is really a great idea. So thank you very much for putting it together.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Tim. It's exciting. And you mentioned investors. One of the next thoughts that I had for this is, let's do one for crypto as a whole, and then let's also do one as like an investor forum and try to get, your Bitcoin whales to go see different projects in here and what programs and what tools might be coming out, open source or commercializable or both. I think that can help us too.
Yeah, definitely. And something we can talk about more offline, but I just wanted to throw the idea out there that as these forums evolve, I think possibly having a moderated focus group where we have a specific topic that we're going to talk about, and then basically the whole group can kind of go back and forth, and more of a dialogue type conversation would be really beneficial as well.
Yeah, I hope to host some of these that are just meant for a handful of people, at like kind of just a table discussion and having 4 or 5 people. I hope to keep doing some of these that are going to be, open access. If you meet some requirements, you're welcome to speak. I hope to do some of these for minnows and dolphins so that folks that haven't quite earned their stake weight but might have some great ideas or some programs, they get a chance. So I'm going to keep doing these forums. It's one of the nice advantages of having a streaming internet station that we built. I have ways to bring people together, to broadcast it, and to host it, and then put it on the block. So I will work on those things. You have my word.
That's awesome. So I know the time is short, so I'm going to get into my spiel. I was been thinking about the past week, what do I want to talk about? I actually thought I only had 2 minutes, so the fact I have 5 is pretty awesome. I'll try to fit as much material in here as I can. So kind of the idea that stood out in my mind as I was thinking about what to spend my time on is the idea of a stakeholder versus the idea of an investor. And I think it's a really important concept when we talk about the Steem blockchain, is that our investors and our users are stakeholders. And I want to define what that means because I think it's a really important aspect of what makes a Steemian. So we all have a vested interest in this platform doing well. Whether you're a whale who bought in, a large stake of their own personal investment and they're looking to see a return on it, or whether you're a person just starting out on the platform and you want to be a successful blogger and possibly earn some money for your contribution, all of our investors making money and our users having a positive experience and being able to get rewarded for their content depends on the platform being successful. And to kind of differentiate what I see as the difference between what I would call just a quote-unquote investor and a stakeholder is a stakeholder has an active role to play in the platform. It doesn't mean that they have to, but that option is there. So typically what I would consider an investor is somebody who puts their money into a project and then kind of just sits back and lets the people who run the project make them money. And there's nothing wrong with that. I think having investors in Steem who just want to put money in Steem and hopefully see it go up by quite a bit within a year is an excellent thing. But at the same time, we offer the ability for investors and users to have an active role in the platform. And there's a wide variety of ways that they can do that. They can vote for the witnesses. Who do you think are the people that are going to be the best qualified for securing the network and producing the blocks and adding value to the community through what they do? You can curate content. You can go through the posts that the users are making. You can use your stake to reward them. And I think the larger investors have a huge ability to make a difference there because in a lot of senses, we get what we reward. If if a lot of spam comments and other things that we don't like are making rewards, people are going to do more of it. If they don't make rewards, but instead we focus on, okay, here's a post that just brought 10,000 new users to the platform. That's awesome. That's growing the value of our platform. Let's reward that. The investors have 100% control over where the rewards go. And I think that's an amazing thing about Steem.
So how do we encourage our investors to think of themselves as stakeholders? Because especially when they're whales that take on that attitude, I think it's quite healthy for the platform. How do we help them hold that vision and hold that responsibility?
It's a great question, and I really think it comes down to the individual. I think it would be naive to think that every single person is going to come in with the utility of the community in mind and not be looking out for themselves. But at the same time, I think there's a pretty strong overlap between what it means for the community to be successful and what it means for the platform to be successful, along with what it means for an individual investor to be successful.
Okay.
I think just looking at it from the perspective of if the platform does well, the value of the currency goes up, we all win. That's probably the best way to put it. And so then what it comes down to is everyone has to ask themselves the question, what can I do to increase the value of the platform? And I think that's a really key question for everybody to ask, whether you have 1 million Steem power or you're just starting out as a brand new blogger, is what can you do to grow the value of the platform? And I think if more people look at the Steem platform from that perspective, that's what we as a community are going to need in order to move the platform forward. So I just wanted to segue into a couple other things, which is, I pitch Steem to quite a few people all the time, and a lot of the feedback that I get is, well, I don't blog, or I don't know what I would write about, or I don't know what I would do. And I think that's something that we need to address and think about is everyone has different skills and different qualities to bring to the table. And there's a responsibility for us as a community to figure out how can we leverage people's strengths to grow the platform. Maybe someone doesn't write code, but they might be an awesome artist. How can the community use their skills to make the platform more valuable. And as an individual, I think it's important that everyone looks at what they have to offer and be looking at it from the lens of what can I use my skills for to grow the value of Steem. And I just wanted to throw a couple ideas out there as far as some of the common things that people do. There's a lot of developers in the community, which I think is awesome. There's tons of tools that can be built. There's pull requests that can be done to both the condenser, Steem repositories, as well as a lot of the other backend things, Hivemind and that type of thing. I think pretty much everybody can be an onboarder for Steem. It means talking about it, helping people get acquainted with the platform. I know the Minna Support Project does a lot of good things there, but it's something that everyone can do. Get your friends on the platform, hold their hand, show them the ropes, get them acquainted, and wait until they get to that point where they feel confident that, yes, this is an awesome place to be. I can succeed here. I've got things I can do to be productive, and then, kind of let people go on their own and, stay with them. But hopefully we can get more people kind of getting more involved.
One of my thoughts there, I've been thinking about hosting sort of like Tupperware parties, but for Steem. You have a family or a group gathering, you can get 20 people in a room. I'm happy to go join you for half an hour and show people the ropes and talk about it and give folks a warm introduction and maybe even sign folks up for that.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think that there's ways that we can do that. We got about 20 more seconds here, and then we're going to move on a bit. But one more idea, Tim, if you'd like to share.
Sure. I'd like to close with the thought of let's put the vision in everybody's mind of $10 Steem and set a threshold of achieving that sometime in 2018. So just plant the seed in your head and think about it. As an individual and as a community, what are things that we can do to bring Steem to $10? And that's what I'll end with.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, you've been listening to at Tim Cliff. He's trading off with Jesta frequently for the number 1 and number 2 spot for Top Witness. I'm going to go drag in Team Steem. Then I'm going to go take a 5-minute music interlude. I will reopen the floor so that if other people want to get into the MSP Waves waiting room and have a conversation and continue this conversation, we can do that. But I'm going to do Team Steem can come on. We'll do 5 minutes there. We'll take a break, and then I guess I'll open up the floor to questions to other people that want to come on, and I'll just moderate that to the best of my ability. So here we go. Hopefully, Team Steem, do you have your audio working? Are you able to say hello?
What about now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, you sound just a little bit garbled, but it sounds pretty good from my end. So. Team Steem is one of the highest followed people on the platform. I think he's closing in on 10,000 followers, or maybe possibly just above it. He's one of the people that helped found the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network, and it is an absolute pleasure to have Team Steem on the show with us right now.
Yeah, thanks. I think I'm not quite at 10,000, and I hope I'm sounding good. I want to say I'm very grateful to be here. I'm looking at all the names of the people here, and I'm overwhelmed by this radio show right now. So thanks, Agro, for hosting this. I want to say the people that are here are pushing me to become a better person. So hopefully it's the same for you guys. And yeah, Steem is very addictive, and it's going to get even more addictive as more people join. And I think it's only a matter of time. One of the strengths of Steem is the fact that we cannot get censored. And also, I feel like people needs to forget about the money aspect in some ways, because we don't go on Instagram or any other of those more shitty website, I'd say, and expect to get paid. We get there because we're addicted to those websites, and it's the same thing for Steem. I guess all of us are very addicted, and we want to pass this to other people. Steem is making us better person. So as for making Steem better, A lot have been said already on this forum, so I think we're all working on it. We're all thinking about Steam all the time, and I think it's only a matter of time and very hard work. All of us believe in Steam a lot, and I mean, I feel like we're onto something, and we're building something very valuable here.
Yeah, I feel like we're on to a great project and a great pathway. The Steam ecosystem is growing. I started the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty platform because I believe in the values of peace, abundance, and liberty. And I think Steam has this remarkable power to teach peace and teach us to live well with each other, because I think it rewards good behavior and punishes bad behavior. I think it creates abundance, having a cryptocurrency that's transparent, that's not inflated, is a great thing. There's a tons of free speech. Yes, you might get flagged now and then for either being an ass or spamming or just maybe the occasional opinion flag, but very much your free speech is alive and well on the Steemit platform. So I agree with everything that you're saying. I think that this thing helps us become better people. I think it's a great platform to share our ideas, and that it's a little addictive, and that's why I spend as much time as I do trying to support this place. So,
I want to say, what were you about to ask?
I was going to say, what else can we be doing? How do you see us being able to help the growth? What can minnows do? What can whales do? What are some discrete steps that we can take to help?
One of the things I'd suggest to people right now that are hardcore fans of Steam, I'd suggest people go watch the presentation, Steamfest presentation of Sneak and the dev panel. If you haven't watched this, it's very valuable. As to bringing more people, I think the platform need more maturing, and things like PAL network is very valuable. The radio show are very entertaining, and they're getting us closer together. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we have just about one more minute here. So, team, is there some closing thoughts you have? Where do we need to go? How are we going to grow? What do we need to do as a community? What's like the number one priority in your mind?
Good question. I mean, we're a family. That's my priority. We need to be very kind to one another. We need to work on our different, but yes, getting kinder and more compassionate to one another, and just looking forward to be better people in general, not just on Steam, but Steam is just a tool to push each other to become better people. And so I just want to say I'm very grateful to know all of you guys. Seriously, Steam changed my life, and I think it's the same for a lot of you, and it's only the beginning too, that's for sure. So thanks for everyone, and thanks Agrod for hosting this radio show once again. It's very awesome.
Yeah, my pleasure. All right, you've been listening to Team Steem. Team Steem is one of the top 30 witnesses. He was one of the co-founders of the Peace, Abundance, and Liberty Network. He has been a constant supporter of the Minnow Support Project through much curation, and just a quality human being. So what I'm going to do for now, I'm going to pause the recording for just a second. We are going